You're talking Super Bowl, 'cause we're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins #1. Yes, we're the
Good evening, Dolphins fans. Welcome to another episode of the best, most positive Dolphins show on all the internet, the Fins Bandwagon. Good evening, Dolphin fans. It's Thursday night, back on our regularly scheduled programming. Won't happen next week. We're going to have to skip a day next week because we have special plans. But welcome to another episode of the Fins Bandwagon. I'm your host, FinStanza, and with me is my pops, Fish Tank Hank. How you doing, Fish Tank?
Junior, it was kind of a belittling week. You know what I mean?
No victory Monday. No victory Tuesday.
No
victory Wednesday.
But you know what? When I went out tonight, I'm still sporting my garb.
Good for
and
you.
my car is still wrapped in Miami Dolphins. So guess what? And my tattoos aren't going anywhere either.
No. Honestly, let's just be honest. We're going to talk about the game, but in a few minutes. But how was your week? What did you do to keep yourself occupied with the loss?
It was tough. I had to go out to eat a few times and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Went and washed my car and sat there and wondered, what are the Dolphins going to do? And then I looked at a little bit of tape and I said, hey, maybe there's something there that I didn't see before. And I don't know. Maybe you're going to tell me some good news tonight.
We'll talk about that. You know how I kept my week busy? No, this is how I kept my week busy. As I probably mentioned to a lot of people, I play softball. And while the Dolphins were losing, I was winning a championship.
Right on. Congratulations,
it took
man.
I've been in that league for 7 years. When I first joined that league, I was rookie of the year, had a phenomenal year. My team was down in the semis, 6-0 in the second game because it was a best of 3, 6-0 after 3 innings. From that moment on, we came back to win that game, came back to win the series, and then swept the other team in the finals to pick up our first championship. So that was a lot of fun. Can't complain about that. So while the Dolphins were losing, I got to suffer. I got to have victory Monday and victory Tuesday to suffer from the Dolphins' loss. So at least there's some happiness in the household there. But let's talk a little bit. So
was that like softball? Was that
softball? I play softball, which is
because way back many moons ago, I played for the Navy.
Oh yeah, cool.
And down in Cuba, and there was this one guy. His name was Scott Worley.
Okay.
And I've never seen anybody throw the ball like this guy threw the ball.
Yeah,
he would throw it
kind of ball.
Yeah, he would throw it all the way out from left field, throw it past the runner at third, and tag him out at home.
Yeah,
that's how
play with
hard
this kind of ball. It's a lot of fun. It's a competitive league. The guy Brian is actually one of the umpires in the league.
Bright balls.
Yeah, we use the bright ball.
The neon.
Yeah, neon.
Right on.
Yeah, but we can't. We use something called a softie because some of us are a little older and we don't want to get killed by the ball. Brian actually is one of the umpires in my league. Great guy. Thank you for joining. Backup Binge Podcast, Eric. Thank you. So let's go back a little bit to talk about, and we'll recap a little bit. So the game started off on Sunday. It seemed like right off the bat, okay, we're going to give them the ball. And a lot of things that we talked about for the keys of the game didn't really come true because they were able to go down the field, and we noticed a couple things. But then we were able to keep up with them. And then all of a sudden, when we were able to keep up with them, every time they would score, we would try to come back. But then we started making the first set of mistakes, bad calls, not great defensive calls. Like, how are you feeling? When did you get that gut feeling in your gut? When did you start to feel like this game was not going our way?
One of my big concerns to begin with was, defense and how were we going to respond on defense?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I was right.
Yeah.
I don't like being right on that kind of stuff, but we couldn't, we got 20 points. You know what I mean? But it wasn't pretty the entire time. We were getting beat by the the Bills quarterback, what's his face, Allen.
Yeah.
And we just took a shot. We
It
farted.
wasn't a very well played. I think it was a very poorly coached game. I actually mentioned it was very similar to McDaniel's calling of the Chargers game. He didn't adapt in the 4th and 1, taking it on the shotgun, not being aggressive heading into the half so you can get double the points. Certain plays, wasn't applying the running game when he should have. Mostert with the fumbles. The defense couldn't stop a cold, and one of my number one keys to the game was keep Allen in the pocket. If you notice, some of the distance plays that they made was when we gave Allen all the time in the world. I kept on saying, when we were watching the game, I'm going to make you laugh. My son was watching the game with me at one point, and he goes, "Daddy, they're doing what they did last year. The defense is like string cheese, Swiss. They can't stop anything. Everything's going right through them." And I go to myself, yeah, that was the kind of day it was, and they were not containing Allen. And unfortunately, we made the first mistake with the turnovers. Offensively, I don't think we did anything poorly. I just think we made bad decisions in key moments. But Tua did not have a terrible game. He had one bad throw. Like I've said, he makes that once in a while. A-Chain looked phenomenal. We'll talk about the defense in a minute, but the biggest concern for me, I was shocked. I'll be the first one to admit this. They really missed Connor Williams. Like, not that Eichenberg had a bad game. He had the worst PFF score of any center in the league. I don't think he had a bad game, but Connor Williams is the glue of that offensive line in terms of calling plays, because you could tell Wynn did not have a great game. Hunt didn't have a great game. Jackson, they didn't really talk about. And Armstead got injured out of nowhere, which is why are we surprised about that? We're not going to even talk about that because that's Teron Armstead. And we have Kendall Lamb. He'll be fine. Connor Williams, hopefully coming back this week, will make a difference. Bad snaps and all. He is actually a really good blocker. And I think he was sorely missed in that game on the offensive
side. It seemed to be a lot of confusion on that offensive line without the two of them.
Yeah.
Being that's what we're talking about now is offense.
Yeah.
There was a lot of confusion, and you could see it when I went back and watched the game again and again, which was tough to do.
It was hard to watch.
That was hard to watch. And, I'd hit the rewind button and go, oh, man, I got to watch that again. But I had to watch it again. And, your son was right. We were Swiss cheese, string cheese, whatever kind of cheese you want to call it. Holes were everywhere, and we weren't stopping poo-poo.
Yeah.
But, the offense was just completely off. They
except A-Chain.
You could see it. Yeah, you could see it. They weren't in sync. They weren't taking care of business and protecting Tua. I can tell you that. Not like they've been doing. Now, does that mean that we've played soft defenses? Or does that mean, there's lots of questions?
I think it was a poor league. I think they were missing their center, which they haven't had all year. And I think it was just a poorly called game from all coaches. I think they got a little too big for their britches. And like I said, we had a stinker, but the Bills had a stinker in game one. And when they played an excellent defense, when you go against excellent defenses, you have to come up with different game plans. So the same way their defense was able to contain us, the Jets were able to contain Josh Allen. And that's just the reality of it. Our defense wasn't as strong. On the offensive side of the ball, you didn't hear from Waddle. You didn't hear from Chosen. You didn't hear from Cedric Wilson. Alec Ingold only saw the ball on one throwing play. That was it. Mostert coughed up that ball twice and literally tore up our confidence.
Yeah.
Tua got hit quite a few times, but he had to manufacture plays because the offense line was just not in sync. But it was a bad game. But you want to know what? You know what gave me a little bit? The one thing I do like, and when we're talking about the offense, is Tua was very confident after the game. He said, we believe in our group. He took the humble pie. So did Tyreek Hill. That's what I like, is that they were very, very they were in decent mood after the game.
Yeah.
So, but also he's right. McD got away from motion, often confused the O-line. Is that coaching? Yes. Like I said, McDaniel did not call a good game. He was very confusing in his play calling. It wasn't consistent. And I think that people just struggled because he did not spread the ball around at all. Yes, and we feel we become and we also became one-dimensional. He gave up the running game because he tried to score points again, and that's just what happened. It was just a poorly called game. For me, Mike McDaniel has to adjust from this because he will face two easy teams. We'll talk about it. But when he gets to Philly or gets to Kansas City, he can't do this. He has to come in with a very smart game plan. He had a smart game plan against Belichick. Why he didn't have it against why he didn't have this against McDermott, I don't know.
Before we get too far along, let me pump the brakes a little bit. Look, Evan.
I'm going to get to the positive after.
We were facing the number 2 defense on offense. We were facing the number 2 defense in the league right now. They might even be number 1 after spanking us. However, our offense, which is what we're still talking about, scored 20 points.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the offense.
That's not nothing on
I'm not worried about the
number
offense.
2 defense.
I'm not blaming the offense. I'm blaming the fact that we're missing injuries.
Even with that mess of an offensive line.
Yeah, we still put up 20. Yeah.
Even with that mess, we still got 20
and the turnovers
points.
hurt us. The turnovers hurt us.
Yeah, the turnovers hurt us. Definitely.
So I'm going to flip it. McDaniel didn't call a great game. Overall, Tua did not have a bad game. He was not the reason for the loss. He did not have a poor game. He had an okay game.
Yeah.
The difference between this year and last year, and why I talked about the show being 3-1 is not the same 3-1, is because Tua is confident. The way he got hit in that game, he got right back up. The fact that he put on weight, the fact that he fell in a smart way, the fact that they didn't give up, the fact that they remained positive, the fact that they realized, you want to know what, it's a bad game, but also you got the bad game out in Buffalo now. Get this stuff out of your way now. Last year when we lost the first game, it felt weird. I'm not worried about the team. But also what I actually like is when you talked about the offense and people were talking about it on Monday. I actually have this rule. I won't listen to Dolphin stuff on Monday. I just don't need to hear all the negativity and people jumping off cliffs. That's the thing, is that's what this team does. That's what all the networks do. How do you go from having the offense that we have and then people saying on Monday, Buffalo's out of their league? It doesn't make sense.
No.
It doesn't make sense.
Everybody has a bad game.
Exactly. You can't go. No one's going undefeated. So,
and are we ready to talk about the defense yet?
No, we'll get there. I'm saving that. The available center, not really that I know off the top of my head. I would bring up Olave if Williams is not ready. But they can get any real center. If they can go find a real center who's a backup center. So even if Dieter would do the job at this point, if he was still around, but Eichenberg wasn't terrible. It's just he didn't have the support. He's not the leader, and the center is. There's a reason why people always talk about how great the offensive line on the Philadelphia Eagles is. The reason they say that is because of Jason Kelce. Jason Kelce's the center. The center is a lot of glue, and that's what it is. Overall, special teams. They at least they returned the ball quite a few times. It was nice to see Barrios get out of the end zone and be aggressive. The only thing I didn't like with McDaniel, which he did in Buffalo last time, is on 4th and 1, he was in shotgun. That bothered me because you had Achane who was running the ball superiorly well, and Achane is running back number 1. Like this guy.
There were some confusing calls.
Yeah.
On both sides of the ball. I was a little confused, but
yeah. But overall, the offense I'm not worried about. Now let's talk about the defense. Now let's talk. The defense for me right now is the biggest struggle for me is, and I did the joke last night on, and this is why I'm motivated for tonight, is I had to listen to Fin's talk overtime last night, and I swear Brett sucks Bobby into that negativity, how bad the defense is, how bad this team is, fire Greer, all this pathetic nonsense, and the two point. No, I hated that conversion attempt. It made no sense to try to make it a 16-point game if they scored again. That 2-point conversion made no sense whatsoever. But no, the defense, honestly, didn't. I made this joke because I'm FinStanza, and if you ever used to watch Seinfeld, he had a famous answering machine saying, "Believe it or not, George isn't at home." So I started writing a song last night on Fin's Talk Overtime. Believe it or not, the Fins can't get it home. And I said to myself, this is a defense, whether it's Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, all these guys, Wilkins, these big money guys, Wilkins is costing himself money every single day. Chubb is not living up to his contract. And Ogba didn't look great. Van Ginkel was the star of that defense. Consistently, every single game, Andrew Van Ginkel shows up. And what was frustrating for me is they can't get to the quarterback. Every time the quarterback leaves the pocket, they are it's like a little kid chasing their daddy for candy. Like you're like they just can't catch him no matter what they try to do. It's like the road runner. It's like they can't catch him, and I don't understand it. So for me, Fangio talked about it today. And if you look at the defensive stats, we're in the bottom 10 in every single defensive category. Some were in the bottom 5. The difference is that you have, like Josh Wingate has said, you have to develop into the scheme. And the problem is a lot of these guys are used to an old scheme, and now they're still trying to learn this scheme. And unfortunately, only some of them are getting the memo. But let's talk about what the biggest problem was for me with Fangio. But hopefully it's a quick fix. And he admitted he made a mistake here. And Xavier Howard was not happy about this after the game.
Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Let me cut in here for a minute. Look, the defense has been getting ran over for quite a while now. All right. And we're talking running. They have been running over us like crazy. Everybody. And that's where Wilkins wanted this big pay raise. Sealer got one. Wilkins didn't. You know, if you want the big pay raise, big boy, you got to stop the run. You know, at least stuff the run because that's what you're best at. You're not great at getting after the quarterback. You know what I mean? And as far as Chubb and them go, I think that their hands were tied to some degree based on the fact that he was playing prevent the whole time.
Yeah.
He had the linebackers drop back. He had the safeties and cornerbacks drop back. He had everybody drop back the entire game until right toward the end or whatever it was, third quarter, wherever it was, where he had finally tried to go with a zero blitz. But at that point in time, it was too freaking late because they were chewing us up. So, you know, you might not have liked Boyer, but at least the zero blitz was having some effects on teams. Whereas we stayed vanilla and didn't do anything. We didn't do anything to change our situation at halftime. And I watched it, and I've never watched a game so much where I hated watching the defense. I'm serious. And it just ticked me off, you know, that we have this guy we brought in and everybody says is an expert, and we had all these problems.
Yeah, it's exactly what he did. But also, Fangio admitted today that he made some poor calls, adjustment. Like right away, we know this for a fact. Everyone saw it. The first throw to Diggs, I said to myself, what? Who's covering Diggs? I like Cater and all, but we have our $20 million corner covering nobody. They and they never adjusted that. Stephon Diggs torched Cater Kohu. We had 98 yards of penalties, and more than half of those yards were caused by Cater Kohu covering.
Why wasn't X on Diggs?
Because they were playing. Fangio stuck them to their side, so he never had them switch sides ever. And he never adjusted.
No, that he should have been on Diggs.
Exactly. He should have been shadowing him. This is, by the way, the big difference in why I'm not worried about this in January.
Definitely back it up, Binge podcast on Dorsey outcoach Fangio.
The reason why I'm positive, but you do realize the next time Stephon Diggs plays us, it won't be X either. It's going to be Jalen Ramsey. Like, it's not even going to be close. Like, that's not. So for me, Fangio learned a big mistake, learned from his mistake, but it is what it is. You can't change much. But the captains of these defenses, Holland did not have a great Brandon Jones. Like, I never would have thought that we missed Deshaun Elliott, but man, oh man, Brandon Jones couldn't. That play between him and Kohu not being able to, both of them couldn't cover this guy. Both of them couldn't tackle Stephon Diggs. Like, unbelievable. Two defensive players couldn't tackle. So
I'm thinking X might be worn out, and they were trying to hide that.
That's not an excuse because Van Ginkel keeps on showing up. So for me, overall, the team just had a poor defensive game. Fangio, I don't think has his team buying into a scheme yet. Maybe they're not made for that scheme, or we're trying to fit round pegs into holes. But the one thing I will say, and why I'm flipping on this, and why it's not the same 3-1, is you're dealing with a 35-year veteran coach who knows in the end what he's doing, and it's not like this is happening in December. If this is our worst game of the year, I will take it I'll take that twice on Sunday if I have to, because we still put up 20 points, and overall the team is going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
he
the
just
Buffalo
has
game.
to adjust, and I know he'll adjust things.
Yeah.
You know, he got smacked around, and I don't think he's going to like it. You know what I mean? Because he talks a tough defense to his men. And I'll tell you, he wants to back up what he talks.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if that's the case, his scheming's going to be a lot different than it was. He better pull out this new whatever he's got defense that he was talking about that he tinkered with, and pull it out, put it to work, make them work.
Just binge podcast. I will be, because Ramsey's going to be eased back in, and if he comes back at the end of November, beginning of December, he's going to have almost a month to get prepared to play against him. So I'm not that worried. And by the way, the Buffalo Bills, they lost Treverius White for the season, likely. I think that he's out with his ACL injury. Tyron Johnson also got injured in that game. Their defense got decimated. So they're not going to be the same defense next game. They might get Von Miller back, but they're going to be missing their secondary a lot more. In terms of what we're looking forward to, we're get to face the Giants, okay? The New York Giants are on a short week, and they just lost to the Seattle Seahawks 24-3.
Yeah.
Now, we're facing Daniel Jones, who's another mobile quarterback. But for me, going into this season, the next 2 weeks against the Giants in Carolina, if we struggle here, which I know we won't, then we can sound some alarm bells. But this team, offensively, like I always tell you, put up 21 against mediocre teams, and you're going to be fine. Wink Martindale has already been posting how terrified he is of facing this offense. And if you don't think that Mike McDaniel is going to come up with a scheme, trust me, against the Giants and the Panthers, they didn't.
Why? What did you hear that Wink had to say?
Wink Martindale said, let me see what he said. What did he say, Wink Martindale? He said something about the Dolphins today. I didn't get to read the quote.
He was sleeping good from what I read.
Martindale, he said, Dolphins. Let me see what he said. Dolphins.
He said, "I'm sleeping good at night. I'm not worried about."
He wakes up crying.
Dolphins.
No, he says. Wink Martindale says he wakes up crying, preparing for the Dolphins. Likens them to the greatest show on turf. So honestly, but he should be afraid because the difference is we're doing this at home, right? If this was on the road, anything can happen on the road. But they're playing in Miami, and they are pissed off about what happened last week, and that's the best part.
Hey,
what's up, Manny?
I'm pretty happy with our team because we played 3 road games and only lost 1.
Yeah, exactly. So far, we're 3-1. We're totally fine. But to go face the Giants, does anyone give you pause or concern on the Giants?
Not really.
Exactly.
I mean, the Giants better be, like I said, what I hope Vic Fangio does is try some of his new mumbo jumbo, whatever it may be, Mojo Runo, whatever you want to call it. I hope he brushes up on his voodoo. And, puts in some plays and tries some stuff, experiment, like he said.
Trivia question for you.
What I saw from the defense was no experiment. There was nothing new there. Like he talked about, when he was getting hired, how he's been working in the offseason with nobody there and this and that. I want to see that, Vic Fangio. Bring it out. Don't wait till it's too late in the season.
The New York Giants were a playoff team last year, right? Do you know what the line is for this game?
Wouldn't it I just watched where they're losing 77 to 9 in the first quarter or something like that.
The line is 12 points. For a betting points, it's the highest spread of any game this week. It's not even a question to people that this is a gimme game. Now, is that a trap game? People can say that. I'm not. Even after, think about this. Even after that crappy week, that people said, Tyreek Hill is still top 2 in receiving. Tua still tops the league in passing and in most passing categories.
Yeah.
A-Chain is top 5 in rushing.
Yep.
Him overall touchdowns, he's one of the top 2 in the league. Raheem Mostert, one of the top 3 in the league. It's like the offense is there. And
they're going to get the rookie rundown with A-Chan.
Exactly.
They're going to get the rookie rundown. That's what they're going to get, the Giants. They're going to get plenty of that.
Yeah, D is good. G-Men D are good, but without Saquon, of course they're done. But even if they have him, they're not putting up enough points to catch up with us. Like the most points they scored was against Arizona, and that was against Arizona. They're not doing that against the Miami Dolphins because we're going to be on the field for too long. Overall, I just don't have concerns about this game. But this has to be another statement game. Like they have to make the Bills game go in the rearview mirror. And honestly, the Buffalo Bills you know where they're going? Do you know where they're going this weekend?
No.
London, England. Do you know who they're facing?
Oh, yeah, they're facing the Jaguars.
Do you know where the Jaguars were last week?
London.
So do you know the Jaguars are sitting there like they're the home team, relaxing. They do very well in London. And trust me, the Buffalo Bills are going to quickly forget what happened to them with the Miami Dolphins because they're going to screw the pooch on this game because they're going to a team that's waiting for them, who is not happy with how they played this season, and they're going to throw a stinker in London. I'm telling you, they're going to have a stinker in London. I promise you. It smells in London. It's going to smell, and they're going to be smelling Bills, the Buffalo Bills. I'm telling you, the Dolphins are going to be tied with the Buffalo. They're going to have the league lead in the Dolphins by Sunday night late afternoon. They're going to have, but midway through the second quarter, they're going to be ahead in the AFC East. I'm just telling you this right now because we're going to know what's going to happen, because that game will already be over in London, right? Yes.
Who do they face after the Jaguars? Do you know? Who do the Bills face after the Jaguars? Do you know?
Buffalo Bills schedule. Buffalo Bills schedule. I'll tell you. Bills. And by the way, in December, mind you, you know how we have 4 games at home?
Yeah.
Like the 10 this season, like 4 of the last 5 are at home. Their 4 of the last 5 are on the road. The Bills. So I don't envy them. Schedule. Let me tell you.
Hey, I don't want to hear it. Everybody said we had like one of the harder schedules
they got
in
the
Patriots.
NFL. They got the Patriots in New England. They don't do well in New England. They do well in Buffalo. They do well and also Bill Belichick has always whipped up a defense that confuses Josh Allen. So for me, that doesn't bother me. And yes, Jason Sanders has been okay the last 2 weeks. He's been the least of my problems. Who has been your outside? I'm going to name this outside of Van Ginkel, who's the obvious player. Who has impressed you on the defense? Like, who's your second best defender right now for you? And why?
Well, I mean, I haven't heard anybody do anything against X, so I guess I would have to say X right now because there hasn't been a lot of buzz around anybody making plays in his face or anything like that. So it's been relatively quiet on his side. That usually indicates that people aren't going there that often, which means he's doing a good job.
Yeah. Who disappoints you most on the defense right now? There's been a lot to be disappointed about, but
you know, I thought Wilkins was going to be a little better. Wilkins and Sealer together were going to be better at stopping the run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were doing a great job last year. It's like, whoop, what happened? You know, you got the same 2 players sitting there. Is it the defensive calling? Is it that obvious in the game what we're calling that, you know, they're getting all blown up before they're even hiking the ball? So, you know, there's a lot of questions right now, but I still have faith no matter what.
Yeah. I called this show with this is not the same 3-1 Dolphins team.
No,
I don't feel like it is. Tell me why you think this is not the same 3-1 team as last season.
You know, you come in, we're supposed to have this hard schedule. The next couple games, we should be fine-tuning our defense and getting it fixed. You know what I mean? Same thing with the offense. We're fine-tuning these next 2 games that we have. And I think we should be winning these games. Yeah, every team in the NFL is not a gimme. That's totally true. Any given Sunday, another team can win. However, our team should be doing exactly what it needs to fix its woes from the Buffalo Bills. And if somebody doesn't step up, then Mr. Ross is going to start looking around at people and say, hey, I don't mind paying you, but I want to see results.
Yeah, no, that's why. You want to know what? Last night, fire Greer. You know what? Greer stood his ground on a lot of the players. He's not overpaying any. Chubb will get there. I think. I think it's just been a weird adjustment period for him. Still, maybe he got overpaid, but in terms of not paying Wilkins, in terms of not overpaying for a running back, like the guy has been smart in that way. So I personally do not put and for me, we had one bad game to all of a sudden say the depth sucks because of that. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. So Josh Allen's a crappy quarterback because he threw 3 interceptions to the same guy in the same play 3 times in a football game. It wasn't.
I'll
like
be right back, Evan. I'll be right back.
Okay, go hide, guys. So overall, for me, the Miami Dolphins facing the Giants doesn't affect me much. The backup bench got a different team because high octane offense supposed to have a D wizard too, so the pieces are there. Just need to exactly. Right now, it's all about execution. It's all about coaching. I rather them lose a game early so they're motivated not to take this for granted, because they could have won that game handedly in Buffalo, and then they'd be so confident that they would screw the pooch and have a trap game against the Giants. So for me, there's nothing that concerns me. Even if Saquon Barkley does come back for the Giants, it doesn't concern me much. They're just not the same team. Trust me, the Miami Dolphins they're playing at home for the next 2 weeks, and it's going to be a great experience. Whoever's going to the game, enjoy it, have a lot of fun. While Fish Tank Hank is away, I just want to give everyone an update that is he coming back? He's almost back, I think, in a minute. One thing I want to give everybody an update on about the FinStanza Sports Network is that next week, the Bandwagon show will either be happening on Friday night or it will be happening on Saturday at one point in the afternoon, combined with FinStalk Today, because next Thursday I'm flying out to Miami, and then Mr. Bobby Melendez is following me up on Friday evening, and the FinStalk Network will be proud and showing their love for the Miami Dolphins on Sunday against the Panthers, as myself, Bobby, Thirsty, and Fish Tank Hank, as usual, will be in the building. We're going to be having a lot of fun. We're going to be doing various shows. We're going to be doing the pregame show, the postgame show. It's fan club weekend. We're going to be going to bow campers, partying with all the fan clubs. We're going to be posting tons of pictures, having a lot of fun tailgating. Just imagine. Thanks, Duke. Yeah, this is my Tyreek Hill Fins hoodie. I love this thing, but I ain't bringing it to Miami in 80-degree heat. I mean, I'm sitting in the shade, I mind you. So, Hank, I was giving everyone an update, and
yes,
then we'll circle back to the game. That as of right now, next Thursday, I will be at a bar in Hallandale Beach watching sports as I land at around 5 o'clock. Then on Friday, I'll be doing some work. I have some important stuff, but then I'll be communicating with you. And whether it's Friday night, we're going to connect. I'm going to meet up with Bobby. We're going to find a time to do Bandwagon. We're going to grab some dinner. We're going to have a lot of fun. Then on Saturday, we have FinStalk Today, where I'm going to be special.
I talked with Bobby. Bobby said he's doing something with family on Friday night.
No. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to be with him for a little bit. Yeah. I'll get him to his family, and then I'll come meet up with you.
Oh, okay. And then we'll do the show from there.
We'll do the show wherever we want to do it. We'll figure that out. Then on Saturday, we're going to meet up in the morning. I'll meet up with you guys, be around for you for FinStalk Today. And then you're welcome to come with us. You're welcome to come, guys. There's a big fan club event 4 to 7 at Bow Campers in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
We're going to have a lot of fun there. I'm going to take him to.
I usually hang out right there in the Stadium Hotel also later on.
Yeah, well, we'll come back, but you're welcome to come with us.
It's the place is called Legends.
Yeah. No, we'll come back. We'll be there. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to do FinStalk Today. And then on Sunday morning, we're going to be tailgating. I haven't bought my tailgate ticket yet because I'm waiting to see if anyone wants to donate one. If not, I will scrounge, because you have no idea. To get an Orange Pass tailgate ticket right now is $200 Canadian. Okay, it's $200 Canadian to get a yellow one. How far is yellow to orange? It's far, right?
Depends on where you park. Depends on where you're going.
But I have to find a
and
place.
that depends on where you're sitting.
Well, you don't have to tailgate where you're sitting. You could walk.
Well, I'm just saying, depending on where you're tailgating, like me, I'm in orange.
I know. I'm probably going to get an orange tail. I'll tell you why. You're sitting in orange, and you're sitting around 241. I think you said you're right.
Yeah, I sit right in the corner of the end zone,
so
in the southeast corner.
Yeah. So Bobby and I surprised Bobby, and I bought the tickets a couple days ago, and I got really cool seats sitting on the other side. So I'm sitting in 101. So I'm sitting on the other side of the other corner than what you're sitting. So I'm in the northeast corner, or whatever you are, the opposite corner. But I don't mind. I'm going to try and get tailgate tickets where in the orange, where I can get there early enough where you are there, and then I could park near you guys. I don't mind walking the stadium. That's why I'm sitting low.
Oh.
Why do you need a parking pass? Where am I going to park, Miss Fins? I don't feel like parking in lot 42 and walking for a mile. So let me know if you have any recommendations, Miss Fins. If you tell me how I can get there, I don't feel like Ubering. Because we're going to go somewhere after the game, Bobby and I, because we're going to host the post-game show. It would be great to all do that together, because Bobby's sister works at a restaurant where we're going to go host the post-game show. And depending on what the service is like, Hank, we're going to do the pre-game show from the stadium, but we're going to maybe if we might pre-record it. Yeah, that's why do you think section 101 is where the Dolphins come out? That's why I picked the tickets, because I didn't want to sit up in the air, and because that's where the Dolphins are. The Dolphins are in the air. I'm on the ground, always in control. So I had to say that. But no, you can park anywhere and walk, but I get it. Yes, I understand, but I don't feel like parking, because even Dolphins Thirsty said he parked in lot 42. And honestly, Miss Fins, I want to do the pregame show. I want to bring chairs. I want to sit down. I want to relax. I have my place in Florida, Miss Fins. You're welcome to come join us at tailgate if you want to meet up before the game and come into the tailgate. I'll have room in my car. I'm renting a car. I'm going to get Bobby. We're going to have a lot of fun. But how excited are you? Let's talk about bandwagon stuff. How excited are you to get to spend the weekend with your son and Bobby?
It's been a while since I hung out with Bobby. So I'm really hoping he has time Saturday and we get to do a show together.
No, we already are. We already have all planned. I'm going to bring him. We're going to meet up with you. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be around for Fins Talk today with you guys.
Oh, excellent. That sounds great.
Yeah, we're going to find a place to meet up.
I don't have any of the details yet. So
no, we're going to call you, but we're going to see you on Friday. But I'm going to connect with you all next week. And anyone who wants to come hang out with us on the Fins Talk Sports Network, we're going to be tailgating. We're going to be doing post-game shows. But I really encourage everyone, come to Bow Campers, where all the fan clubs are going to be.
Yeah, that's from 4 to 7, you said.
Yeah,
right?
Saturday night. And then we can go grab dinner afterwards, or go meet back at maybe we'll come to Legends and hang out with you there. But I can also grab, if you don't want to take your car, I can come get you at the Stadium Hotel. I'm only 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
So we can also, I want to take Bobby to Canesware. He hasn't been there before, which is a really good dolphin spot in Davie that has really just cool dolphin stuff. So I'm going to take him there as well. It's just off the 595, which is really convenient to get to Fort Lauderdale. We're going to have a lot of fun. Honestly, I've been looking for 2 years to go to a game, but I said to myself, I have to go where I'm going to see everyone, to see Miss Fins, to see you, Pops, to see Bobby, to see Fish, to see Thirsty.
Hey, I have no problem following you around.
No problem. Right? Yeah. Where are you, Miss Fins? Where's your place? What area are you in? Let us know. But I'm there for Miss Fins from Thursday to I'm getting there Thursday evening. I'll be there till Wednesday morning, because I promised myself, and my wife granted me this wish, because Florida is I love it there. It's my home. I've been going there for 40 years since my family bought that place. I'm spending my birthday there. I'm taking the day off. I'm going to relax. I'm going to just be by myself. It's
When's your birthday again, son?
The 17th of October.
The 17th of October.
Yeah, I'm a Libra. And Broward County. I'm in Hallandale Beach. I'm on the Barrier Island, just over the bridge. It's a lot of fun. But no, I can't wait to come.
And remind me again, how many years ago was you birthed?
I'm going to be 41. 41. I had you when you were only about 12 or 13 years old. You weren't even bar mitzvahed yet. A school gang says a Vince party is going on right here. Absolutely, Eric. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Like, do you understand the stadium? Can you imagine? Okay, Bearded Fanatic is still watching. Can you imagine, Jason, how nervous Jason Sanders is gonna be that knowing that I'm in the building? You know how excited he's going to kick the longest field goal of his career. He is going to kick a 60-yarder just to shut me up. Just to shut me up. Honestly, I can't wait. And also, I must mention, so I'm not going to mention his name, but someone else on the network is also coming to the game. But I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want to spoil a surprise. But we'll share that a little bit. But that should be a lot of fun. But no, we're going to have a lot of fun. Like, the Panthers game and the Giants game, Fish Tank, like, this should be for this should prepare. You don't take any team lightly. We're facing any NFL team. But this offense, when it's struggling, has a better offense than probably 20 teams, 20, 25 teams of the league. Because when they don't even try, they score. That's how they are.
And the thing is, and everybody knows it, we were 20-something in defense last year, and we're right there again.
Yeah.
So until Fangio comes up with some of the new gadgets and gadgets that he's got, we're going to be kind of sidelining and hope that our offense keeps up with points. Absolutely. So that's the other thing. When if our defense is sucking, then we're going to have to put up big points every game. We're going to have to. And that means that Tua and the boys are going to have to turn the Jets on and get it done. Blocking up front. We got to have that offensive line a lot more cohesive than they were last time.
But if Williams is supposed to be back, that's the good news. Nick Needham is on his way back. Robert Jones, who I love, is on his way back soon. But Connor Williams, Deshaun Elliott, and that group are expected to play. So any of the players we struggled with last game are expected to play.
What about Armstead?
Armstead they haven't announced that yet. We'll find out tomorrow whether or not he's going to miss the next 4 games or they're just going to play it. But the guy's limping again. We're not surprised.
Yeah.
It was just a weird injury as per usual. But that's why we have Kendall Lamb. And Kendall Lamb did a yeoman's job. I'm telling you, I have more respect. I have more respect for Connor Williams now after watching last game because he's the play caller. He have a lot. So to everyone here, if I'm hard on, I will give Connor Williams 1 high snap a game if he doesn't miss 1 more game the rest of the year. Okay, I won't go hard on him. Okay, we're just gonna have a lot of fun. I'm not obviously on Fin's Talk today. You're going to talk about the key to the game and your score, and I will do that on the pregame show on Sunday. But overall, what do you really expect out of this game? Do you expect it to be a tight game, or do you really think that they're going to step on their throat early and just put them away really quickly?
I have a lot of concerns for this game, to be honest with you. And this is a game that Miami needs to get a few things turned around. And if they don't get them turned around, they're going to plummet. Because if these next 2 teams beat us, then we got big problems. So,
no, by the way, can you just imagine? I'm not imagining it because I don't want to have I do want to have a good night's sleep tonight because I've been going to bed late lately. Is that if the Miami Dolphins do not put up 40 against this team and they don't show what they're made out of, you and I are going to go on X, we're going to go on Twitter, and we're going to wake up on Monday, and the fan base is going to act as if this team lost, the season is over. And that's just how we are, because some of these people are so wounded by everything that's ever happened to this team, they can't get out of their own way. But honestly,
as long as we get a win, I'm happy.
Yeah, but they're going to step on their throat. Right? Like the Dolphins are going to put up big numbers, and on Monday morning and on Tuesday morning,
everybody wants that record breaker number.
The difference is that Miss Finns, myself, Duke, Eric, we don't jump off the bandwagon. We don't get sucked into the Brett Lagasse, Fire Greer, end of the world crap. That's what Bobby does. That's why Bobby is going to be spending time with me. I'm going to be putting so much bandwagon nonsense into his ear for 4 days. He's not going to know what to hit him.
Bobby's a realist.
No, by the time we're done with him in Florida, Hank, he is going to be he's going to be in the middle seat of the bandwagon. You know, back in the day in the old station wagons, there was always that seat in the middle.
Yeah.
We're going to put little Bobby Melendez right in the middle.
You got the seat in the middle, and you also had the one that was backwards.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what's a nope? What did I say that's not a nope? Miss Fins, clarify that for me. I was getting too excited because why? Because this is not the same old Dolphins. It's not the same 3-1 team because you have a coaching staff that is that are smart. They know what they're doing. They had a stinker of a game. They just didn't scheme well. They didn't defend well, and that's it. But like I said, it's home. They need to put on the pedal, not give G-Men the time of game. Yeah, they just have to step on it and make mistakes, and they can't lose the turnover battle. No more fumbles, Mr. Mostert. No more fumbles.
Hit the gas on the bus.
Yeah.
We don't drive
electric here. There's a reason why we don't drive electric here, because we literally we believe in putting the pedal to the metal, and you don't feel like you're putting imagine you drove your car electric. It wouldn't be fun. You need to hear that revving of the engine, right? Bandwagoners, we need that Beetle where the banana, we need to hear that noise. We hear that crack. That's what the Dolphins are doing right now. They're crackling. We're trying to start the engine again after a weird week, and then when they turn it and they put the pedal, it's not even going to be close.
Yeah.
What's up, Dolphineer? What's up, Duke? So, any final
words?
Up,
everybody.
Any final words before we call it a fun night? Because honestly, we're just having a good time here, guys. Don't listen to all the naysayers. Don't listen to all the negativity about what's wrong with the Dolphins.
It was one
football game. Would you like, honestly, weren't the Bengals in the top? When everyone talked about the team, it's the Chiefs. The Chiefs threw a stinker against the Lions. The Chiefs have had more stinkers than us. They did not play great against the Jaguars. The Jaguars didn't play well that game. They only put up 17 points. Patrick Mahomes was outdueled in terms of actual yards and stats over Zach Wilson, and they lost to the Lions, okay? They lost to the Lions. They've had worse games than the Dolphins in terms of their overall performance. Josh Allen has had a bad game against the Jets. The Cincinnati Bengals are screwing the pooch. The Dallas Cowboys, they lost to the frickin' Arizona Cardinals. There are teams that are people who are expecting to do. The Jaguars have not had a great year either. There are teams that people are expecting to do well. The Ravens lost to the Colts. Okay, the Ravens lost to the Colts. We lost to the Bills. That's what I'm trying to understand to people. The Bills lost to Zach Wilson. Okay, to Zach Wilson. The Bengals aren't winning nothing right now. The Ravens lost to the Colts. The Jaguars stunk the bed the first few weeks. The Cowboys lost to the Cardinals. The Miami Dolphins lost to the number 2 defense and the second best offense in the NFL after 2 weeks. What? Honestly, they had a bad game. So what? But they didn't lose to the Cardinals. They didn't lose to the Colts. Get over yourself. Get back on the bandwagon and shut up.
Anyway. Yeah, we got 2 games to fix it up, Eric.
Yeah. And Tua has not. I don't think people want consistency from Tua. Tua's thrown an interception here and there, sure, but Tua has not been a problem this season. He's falling properly. He's not getting demotivated. He's not making bad decisions after he makes a mistake. Yeah, he's following the game plan, and that's all that matters. So, once again, any final words for the bandwagoners on this network?
Nah, thanks for coming out, and we're gonna kick some butt. So I'm not worried. The season's not over. I still think we'll get 13 wins out of this season.
I believe in you. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. We had a great episode tonight. We're going to get the glitches out. Jason Sanders has been perfect. Go Jason Sanders. Go Connor Williams. We missed you. Miss Fins rocks. Don't forget to cut her show. Miss Fins, I owe you a drink next week. We're going to have a lot of fun together. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to watch Fins Talk today on Saturday, where they talk about the key some key acquisitions that we should be looking at and talking about the Giants game. Then we'll have the pregame show talking about all around the NFL on Sunday morning around 11 a.m. And then we'll have the post-game show where the Dolphins will be celebrating their 4th win of the season, Kings of the AFC East, and we'll be laughing at the Buffalo Bills losing to the Jaguars in London. We're going to be having a lot of fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Say goodnight to my pops. And guys, once and for all, don't forget, fins up.
Fins up.